Parkitect Scenario Guide: How to win Victoria Lake and still have some great scenery. Well, let me show it to you. The park initially offers great opportunities for expansion. You start out with $18,000 or whatever this is. You need to have at least 300 guests in your park and have no loan debts. But don't worry, because where we are going, we don't need no loans. The main problem of Victoria Lake is that you have these really big paths that extend all across the lake, but the solution is just close parts of it or demolish one tile of it to not allow the guests to go in places where you don't have scenery and they get tired and leave the park. You have two roller coasters, the wooden coaster and the kiddie coaster. The wooden coaster is your best option. I recommend you start with it. But first comes the scenery. I decided to build a main street at the front of the park, themed to the Victorian era with many Victorian buildings. There is a space here also for a kiddie coaster on the back. I decided to theme it to horses with this Victorian house. This coaster emulates the Vekoma style of kiddie coasters. It was a mistake starting with this roller coaster though. Go with the wooden coaster because guests want more exciting rides in this park. So build a super exciting wooden coaster, then attract more guests that will buy your food, the merchandise and use the restroom. Moving on, the park will have 3 areas. The next area will be a Steampunk area. We'll start with a flat ride that is themed to some kind of energy generation from the future, or the past in this case. It is the start of the new land. For the Steampunk land, I decided to go ahead with the wooden coaster. It is a GCI to be specific, as if it was some kind of coal transportation back in the day. There is this factory here for some kind of power plant. It has a flat ride inside it. And after those rides attracted guests, we had finally completed our goals, even before the scenery was finished. So I started playing Sandbox and unlocked mods. Since you can download these mods free on the Steam Workshop, I don't consider them to be cheating, but I will be using mods from now on, okay? The station is very industrial but it has some ornamentations with this tower. And finishing a little bit of this steampunk area, I added this pagoda style here to make this area more interesting. Now let's move on to the next area, which is Central Europe. I added this extreme spinning coaster like Time Traveler or Ride to Happiness. These are crazy roller coasters, they seem really intense, which will help out your park, but I have never been to one of these in real life. So let's tour the park. We start on Main Street. It has many Victorian buildings. The kiddie coaster is pretty chill. I expanded it and added more theming. It is now a perfect horse stable. It is inspired by those Vekoma coasters like Gadget's Go Coaster or now Chip and Dale's Gadget Coaster and Woody Woodpecker's Nut House Coaster, which is also closed. Weird. On the other side, I experimented with some Gothic Revival and Queen Anne styles on these buildings. They don't really serve a big purpose, but I like them in general. I added this Swan ride and this Ferris wheel as well. They make the park look better. Now let's move on to my favorite land, which is the Steampunk land. I added more theming and more references like this Six Flags power plant, but can you see all references? Let me know in the comments below. I added this blimp inspired by Discoveryland at Disneyland Paris, of course, and some nice facades to make it a nice backdrop for the roller coaster as you are in the queue. I used mod for this clock tower here since I didn't want all clocks to look the same. And the last land, as I said, is based on Central Europe. It has a huge palace with a dark ride inside it. And we have this castle as the park's main Winnie, which is basically something that attracts guests in real life. For gaming mechanics, it doesn't really matter. The main coaster here is inside the castle looking structure. I took some inspiration from the castle that was already available in this scenario to make it fit with the original architecture. The queues runs out of these ruins and a Bavarian village that the roller coaster cycles through and around this tower. There's also this Oktoberfest area here that hides a carousel inside. So, what do you think of this park? Click the subscribe button right now, and if you like Parkitect, check out my best park here. See you there.